Hey guys, I'm Bad Brad with Velocita. You guys see me all over social media. We do a bunch of national events, a bunch of races. I'm joining you today live from Tulsa, Oklahoma, site of the Chili Bowl. Just finished up the Tulsa shootout, a little under the weather. Had reached out to Brian and had planned to be there today. You guys are in my backyard, but unfortunately, got the Tulsa shootout flu, I guess. And my flight got canceled yesterday. So unfortunately, it wasn't supposed to be, but I am joining you live Zoom today. Brian and I talked over the week and decided it would probably be best if we did it this way. So here we are, and we're going to try to help you out with fire suit safety today. There's a lot of misconceptions and misnomers about fire suits, and hopefully we can clear some of that up for you. But really excited that Brian's able to help us be part of the presentation. Brian has my slides, and he's going to be working with me. Brian, if you hold that a little bit closer, I can see it, my man. Okay. Oh, there we go. All right. Why do we wear fire protective clothing? Well, obviously, that's pretty obvious because we want to protect from the possibility of being burnt by fire. And what causes fire in race cars? Well, what mostly causes fire in race cars is when we have engine detonation. We explode engines, or when we have rear style impacts and fuel cells explode. And obviously, because the headers are hot and there's sparks, we can actually have ignition. So we wear some level of fire protective clothing, whether it's one layer, two layer, three layer, in order to keep fire from burning us. What we found over the years is fire doesn't burn us as much as the sweat does from steaming us. So we've actually, Velocita specifically, we work with NC State University in the burn lab there, and we've actually studied sweat science. So we actually keep drivers up to 70% drier to actually help remove the moisture from the skin so we're not as likely to sizzle. Just for fun, take one piece of bacon, put it in your freezer, throw it in the frying pan tomorrow morning. Don't let it defrost. It'll take a few minutes for it to begin to sizzle. Take the same piece of bacon the next morning and lay it out on the counter and let it defrost and hit a hot pan. You'll hear it sizzle. That'll kind of give you an idea of what evaporation and moisture and sweat are doing. So we definitely try to stay away from that and keep the driver as dry as we can. But that's ultimately what fire protection in general is about. Uh, okay, SFI certified. I hear this all the time. You see the labels on the arms, on the neck, or whatever. SFI is an organization that was set up originally as a not for profit 503c from California, and they were basically a group of racers that were interested in making safety better. What is it applicable to for driving suits? So, all driving apparel and accessories fall under the 3.2 and 3.3 applications. Let me throw this disclaimer in there. Please verify all the information I'm giving you with the SFI Foundation website. It is free. It is your resource, and if you're not looking at it, you're crazy. This could mean your life. But 3.2 accessories and 3.4 accessories are driving suits. 3.2 is probably all you're ever going to see in short track racing. 3.4 certifications are only for NASCAR. So you see 3.2 slash 1, 3.2 slash 3, 3.2 slash 5, etc. That does not mean the layer of suit. A dash 5 is not 5 layers. A dash 3 is not 3 layers. A dash 1 is not 1 layer. That is the amount of time that is rated for it to not create a second degree burn. It's basically done on a TPP rating or thermal penetration. So you can actually have a 1 layer suit that meets an SFI 30, which is the highest rated suit you could possibly have. This is going to be more powerful than an SFI 20 that a top fuel dragster guy would wear. Unfortunately, that suit doesn't exist. It's kind of a pipe dream. Most of what we're going to be dealing with is 3.2 slash 5 suits. Those are traditionally going to be 2 and 3 layer suits that we're going to see in short track racing, whether it be dirt, whether it be asphalt, kind of whatever track you're at. Just because a suit has an SFI label on it doesn't mean it's SFI certified. It would be like me putting a Goodyear sticker on a Hoosier. It didn't make it any more a Goodyear than the sticker did. There are counterfeit labels. In recent history, Impact Race Gear is the most current company to be decertified for using counterfeit labels. That's right. Bill Simpson's bread and butter company got caught using fake labels. They were importing labels using nylon thread, et cetera, et cetera. You can read all about it on the SFI website. For God's sakes, don't take my word for it, but it has happened and it has happened multiple times. Before you buy a suit, go to the SFI Foundation website. Look and make sure that that manufacturer participates for whatever item you want to buy. There's a separate certification for suits. There's a separate certification for gloves. There's a separate certification for helmet and underwear. If your company is not certified for all of those things, don't buy it. I don't care if it's free. I don't care if your buddy sells it. I don't care if your daddy sells it. They don't know what they're selling you. If they're just chasing your bucks and they don't have the $800 to become SFI certified, don't you dare trust your life with them. SFI is a great organization, and they really do a great job of policing what's going on in the industry. Brian, what do we got next? No problem, sir. Oh, cleaning and care. So we talk about cleaning often with fire suits, and it's one of the things that doesn't happen as often as it should. What we tell people about cleaning a fire suit is, unfortunately, grease and oil and gunk. And if your suit starts to get shiny in certain areas, those are actually oil buildups, which actually become flammable, actually. So what we tell people is, you definitely want to make sure that the suit stays clean, but it's also easy to overwash it. Yes, you can actually overclean the suit. It won't wash the fire protectancy out of it unless it's a fire treated cotton product. But what it will do is it'll wear the actual the fabric thin, and the thinner it gets, unfortunately, the safer it is not. It begins to lose its fire protectability. So what we recommend guys to do, if your suit just smells bad and it's really not dirty, we recommend that you put it in your bathroom at home, somewhere that's climate controlled, heated and air. Hang it up in your bathroom overnight, inside out. Once the suit is completely dry, fold it up and put it in the freezer. If you'll leave it in the freezer for 24 hours, the suit will actually smell fine. Everything that you can smell that smells bad is alive. Those are microorganisms that are living and breathing. If you put them in the freezer, you'll kill them. You'll be able to take the suit out the next day and you'll have a fresh suit. When we ran the Hell Tour, even though I have a fire suit company, I only had 3 fire suits. It's 28 races in 31 days, and we weren't going to the laundromat every day. We actually learned that trick actually from a retired Green Beret. He told us about that. It's actually how they kept their BDUs from smelling in the field. They actually had portable freezers and ice chests, and they would kill their bacteria that way. It absolutely works great, and it doesn't deplete your suit. If you're going to wash your suit, please wash it. Do not dry clean a suit. Dry cleaning is flammable, and not only is it flammable, it has a 21-day incubation period. Plus, they put it in that really nice bag. It holds all of the flammable vapor in that. Have you guys probably seen fires where guys are on fire in a sprint car, especially sprint cars? You see them, and they have this low red glow all over them. Red is a cold fire. I know that sounds crazy, but it's probably 850 degree fire. What you're seeing, that red glow, is dry cleaning fluid. And you'll look, it's consistent all over the entire suit. That's dry cleaning fluid. Dry cleaning is the devil. Don't ever do that to your suit. You want to wash it. And you need to wash it with a product like our Velocita Suit Wash. It's actually used by NC State. It's actually what they use in the burn lab, so we just have it mass produced for us. Or there are a couple of other products out there that are specifically for cleaning FR garments. They have no dyes, no perfumes, or anything. What's wrong with using Tide or Gain or All or Downy or something like that? The biggest problem is they have fabric softeners in them. And they do feel good, they look nice, they feel well, they smell nice. The problem is the perfumes are flammable, and softening the fabric breaks down the tensile strength of the FR. You don't want to break down that tensile strength because it allows fire to impermeate that should that happen. So clean it with a reputable suit wash, turn it inside out, zip it up, close all the Velcro, always hang it to air dry. No dry cleaning, no dryer. That'll make your suit last for a really long time. And don't forget the freezer trick also. I use it weekly for my suit. Brian, what do we got next? When and why to replace. So we recommend replacing fire suits every 2 years. And I know you guys think that's just so we can make more money, but it's actually not. When the suit wears thin, as we just discussed about the washing and care procedure, once the suit wears thin in those areas, it loses its protection. It's going to happen mostly in the seat, the hips, and the shoulder area because that's where we make contact with our full containment seat. Also, where the belts come down, also where our hybrid or Hans comes down, all these areas are being sanded against all the time and eventually wears thin. So we call it 2 years, which for a dirt racer is probably going to be somewhere between 75 and 125 shows. For an asphalt racer, it's probably going to be closer to 4 years because pavement guys just don't get as many opportunities. And honestly, you're behind a windshield, it's not as hard on your suit. You also, if you can hold it up and you can see light through certain areas, time to get rid of it. How about if you're exposed to fire? The very first thing that will happen to Nomex, and the way that you can tell it's genuine Nomex is if it's exposed to fire but doesn't burn through, it will turn a tan, taupe, or kind of a like a low goldy orange color. That means the dye has burnt out. The first layer of protection is gone, and you should absolutely replace that driving suit. A second exposure could be terminal or critical failure. Once that material becomes brittle, it's very easy to break that barrier and turn that suit into something that could potentially not protect you in the next case. So that's basically our recommendation at SFI. That's why we're always looking for manufacturer dates. We're looking for roughly 2 years, and then tech guys will start looking around and go, okay, your suit's 3 years old, but it still looks good. They give you a thumbs up, that kind of thing. But ultimately, we don't want holes in it. We don't want to see discoloration. We don't want to see it filthy. Brian, what do we have next? Okay, so the two things that we're looking at with SFI is thermal penetration and thermal shrinkage. And these are a little bit, I don't know, they're kind of like mystery for folks that don't study it all the time. As you guys can tell, I'm an FR geek. I'm involved in this every day, all the time. I love to study the science of fire. So the first thing that we talk about is thermal penetration. What does that really mean? So SFI uses a 1 watt at 1 meter, 1800 degree hole, 3 meter setup, blah, blah, blah. Basically, what they're trying to do is they basically use a substance similar to bacon. They're trying to figure out how long it would take for you to receive a second-degree burn. And the reason that they're doing this is we want to know what the level of protection is. So TPP is based on a 0 to 100 scale. Most of the suits that you see that are SFI 32A-5 are going to receive a 10.8 or higher thermal penetration rating. Well, what does that mean? That means 10.8 seconds before you would potentially receive a second degree burn. Is that a set and fast number? Absolutely not. Because what SFI doesn't do is they don't test with variables or accelerants. So fires don't randomly happen. You guys have been at racetracks your whole life. You've never been going through the pits and seen a guy spontaneously combust. If his race car's not on fire, he's not on fire. What causes fire? Oil, gas, transmission fluid, power steering fluid, rear end grease. These are accelerants. Unfortunately, there's no way to test with all accelerants to give TPP ratings for every situation. So it is a dry burn with a Bunsen burner, alcohol based, 1 watt, 1 meter, 1800 degrees, bam. How long does it take for thermal penetration? That thermal penetration number gives you the rating, and it's going to be somewhere between 10.8 seconds and whatever. That turns over to a TPP rating of somewhere in the 19.2, 21, 24, 27. I think the highest TPP rating that I've ever seen is like a 28.2 or a 28.4. It was not my company. It was actually the guys from Stand at 21 out of France, and that's their $10,000 marquee mock suit. I think our current highest rating on our pro suit is 27.6. To the best of my knowledge, we have the highest of any domestic manufacturer. Part of that is we pedigree our fabrics. We don't import fabrics. Our fabrics are domestically manufactured in Tennessee, and we only use genuine DuPont Nomex spun thread to make sure our TPP ratings are high and they're also consistent. The next part of thermal is thermal shrinkage. There are plenty of fabrics that will give you a very high thermal penetration rating and they won't burn through, but unfortunately, like shrink wrap, they shrink up. Thermal shrinkage is the devil. If thermal shrinkage comes, then you have all of that heat compressed against the skin. Now we can't actually get that pulled off the skin. It's stuck to you, which makes for terrible infection and lots of bad stuff. I think Brian has some photographs of a suit that a guy was wearing. Not a bad suit, but it was an older suit. Hadn't been cared for properly, hadn't been cleaned. It was a dirty suit, and he got burnt. Terrible, terrible burns. It's life-changing, guys. It's life-changing. We're talking about somewhere between $500 and $1,500 a year will keep you completely covered, or you can have a miserable life. Why would you not make that choice and do it every year? But hey, we understand times are tight. So thermal penetration, how long it takes to burn through, thermal shrinkage, how quickly it shrinks up. Brian, what else we got? Types of FR. So would you guys believe me if I told you that nobody on earth makes a fireproof suit? Not even me. My family's been doing FR since 1954. We are perceivably the oldest manufacturer on the globe. But guess what? We've never built anything fireproof. Did you know that even rocks will burn if you get them hot enough? That's what happened to Hawaii. They're called volcanoes. Everything burns at some temperature. There are three types of FR. The very first thing that we deal with is going to be durably fire retardant. And what durability and fire retardant mean are rocks, earth, sticks, trees, things that are found in nature that inherently don't burn have a low flash point and have to have a high acceleration point in order to burn. So those are things that are durably fire retardant. The only thing that we borrow from the durably fire retardant industry is going to be a product called lensing. Lensing comes from beech wood, and that's what we make our underwear out of. Actually, we make it, and so does Terry at PXP. We use a lensing derivative because it has a low flash point and a very high incineration point. That's durability. So wood, sticks, rocks, trees, mud, those things are all durably fire retardant. Inherently fire retardant is going to be all of your aramids and your Nomexes, things like this. This means that the chemical makeup of this product does not allow it to actually burn at lower temperatures. Of course, it will eventually incinerate, it will eventually burn, but it has a very low flash point, which means you can't just strike a match to it. And it has a very, very long durability or incineration point, which means it'll burn for a long time before it actually fails. So that's going to be your aramids. And most fire suits are aramids. Most fire suits are not Nomex. People assume that they are. Nomex is extremely expensive, and most of your low-cost manufacturers, these ads you see pop up on social media all the time, and I don't want to call names, but like Fit, Fervo, that one group from the Northeast just got decertified. Those are aramid suits. That's cheap FR, barely better than cotton. It only passes a test one time. It's not a multiple durability suit. The Nomex 3 and Nomex 4 fibers are premium. It's the best stuff that you can buy. It lasts, it washes, it's durable, inherently fire retardant for a period of time. The next thing is topically fire retardant. And I think you guys have recently seen one of the guys, the sprint car guys, is pushing a spray that you spray on your suit to make it more fire retardant. Does it work? It does if it's used correctly. Here's the problem. Most people don't use it correctly. It needs 48 hours to cure. Most people don't think about it 2 days ahead. It's the same thing that you can buy off of Amazon that you spray on movie theater curtains. Movie theater curtains are FR. A lot of folks don't know that. They have to be fire retardant in the event of a fire. That's topical spray. If you guys remember the old days, the FR cotton coveralls that we wore back in the day, Banox, Proban, those kind of things. Now, there are some impregnated cottons now that are really good, but anything that's sprayed is going to have a wearability, meaning as soon as it receives abrasion, like from seat belts, that area is gone. As soon as it's washed, that area is gone. As soon as it's dried, that area is gone. And it's a reapplication process. Not that it is bad, but it is a minuscule layer of protection. And we've not seen a case so far where that little bit of protection made any difference whatsoever. Durably, inherently, and topically fire retardant. Those are the three types of FR that we have. Brian? Okay. Embroidery and decoration. We commonly get asked, hey, I want a suit like the NASCAR drivers have that have like the cold sticker looking deal on them. Well, the stickers can go on there, but the problem with the stickers are, and they are fire retardant. Unfortunately, you can't wash them. Everybody says hogwash, you can wash anything. You can, but unfortunately, the sticker, the color comes out of it. If you'll think about it, you've never seen a NASCAR driver wear the same suit 2 weekends in a row. They don't. In fact, most drivers have 2 to 3 suits per weekend to make sure that all the sponsors look good. Obviously, they're working on a 10, 12, 15, $30 million budget, and it's not a problem. So we err in default towards embroidery. Keep in mind that with embroidery, embroidery is inherently fire retardant. There are 4 parts to the fire tetrahedron. If you can remove any of the 4 parts, you don't have fire. Air, fuel, oxygen, chemical reaction. Well, if you can remove any of those pieces from it, we remove air because embroidery is so intense. If you put a fire suit in a commercial incinerator and you left it at 5,000 degrees and went to lunch and you came back, the only thing that would be left would be the embroidery and the teeth of the brass zipper. Those areas inherently won't burn because you can't get air or oxygen into them. Decoration or the flash work, those are just going to be additional layers of the suit that are put on it for decoration, flash work, and those kind of things. They are made from the same exact fabric. We have seen some companies, we won't call his name, but there's a company in Texas that is now screen printing fire suits. Screen printing, like I have on my shirt, like you're probably wearing on your shirt today, is plastisol. That is an accelerant. that suit does have an SFI label on it, and in your mind, you're safe and you're great. Unfortunately, that is way far out of the program, and multiple companies have called this company out about doing that, but he hasn't been caught yet. So be careful. Do not get a suit that has screen printing on it. Screen printing is flammable, it will melt, it is an accelerant, it will go into the garment, and it can cause you lots and lots of trouble should you ever have to face fire. And I tell people all the time, the best part of my job is less than 1% of racers will ever experience catastrophic fire. That's the best part of my job. The worst part of my job is only 1% of racers will ever experience catastrophic fire. Everybody's chasing pretty, very few people are chasing safe until it happens to them. Brian, what do we have next? Why do drivers get burnt? Man, this is a great, great topic. A lot of people have theories, a lot of people have ideas of why they got burnt, but the truth is, most people just don't know. We talked a little earlier about fire science and about sweat science. If I can keep you dry, chances are I can reduce your chances of being burnt by 70 to 80%. Dry skin doesn't burn. The reason dry skin doesn't burn is it doesn't allow it to sizzle. Sizzle is what gets us in trouble. But what causes fires? Engine explosions, fuel cell explosions, being splashed with fuel, being splashed with power steering fluid, transmission fluid, being splashed with any of those things. Those are the things that cause our drivers to get burnt. Not washing the suit, not caring for the suit, not wearing the correct type of suit. We absolutely recommend underwear. Layers are your friend, and it's not that the layer is your friend, which it is, but the air between the layers actually absorbs that heat energy. And if we can absorb that heat energy, we can keep you from being burnt. So all of your hot fluids obviously can ignite and can burn you. Fire colors, white fire or clear fire is the hottest. That's methanol fires. We can only see it because of the trash that's being burnt with it. Pardon me. The colder the fire, the less likely it is for penetration, the quicker we can get it put out. And even though you may have 10, 11, 12 seconds per rating, how long will it take for the safety crew to get there? So make sure that you're wearing all the protection, clean protection that you can every single time, and that you've got all of your fluids and everything sealed up well so that you're not covered in fluid in the event of an accident. But drivers get burnt because of thermal penetration and mostly because of the sizzle factor. Wear base layer underwear, let it absorb the sweat. Wear a suit that has a moisture wicking liner also to pull the sweat further away, and it will give you a much better chance in case of fire. Brian? Takeaways. So, first and foremost, I really want you to encourage guys to look at that SFI website. There's lots of things that are going on now. It's preseason. We're all buying fire suits. Everybody's looking for their next thing, and everybody wants a deal. Hey, man, I want a deal too. But here's the thing: is your life worth saving two, three, four, 500? Is your life worth saving $10,000? The answer is no. The average cost of a funeral today is $8,347. That's actually on Google. I looked it up this morning. The average cost to treat a 1-inch cube skin graft from a third-degree burn is $34,000. The most expensive suit that I have is $16.99. Look at the money that I just saved you, and I kept you safe. Not just me, but all of us. But do your research. If it's not listed on the SFI Foundation website, don't buy it, don't buy it, don't buy it. Don't fall for the sales pitch. Don't fall for the lie. Don't take the chance. This is your life. It does not matter what anybody tells you. I don't care if your best friend is selling it. I don't care if your pastor is selling it. Have they flown to Pakistan, Vietnam, Sri Lanka, Laos, or wherever the crap was made, pedigreed what it was, pedigreed the material, seen the people, worn one of the suits themselves and set themselves on fire? Absolutely not. And if they haven't, you better not put your butt in it either. SFI Foundation, 3.2, click on manufacturer, scroll down. If the manufacturer that you want to use is not listed by name, and if they tell you somebody's building our suits, this company builds our suits, bull crap. I'm Michael Jordan's twin brother. Prove to me that I'm not. I'm not, right? You can't prove it though because I said that I was. Absolutely don't buy anything from a manufacturer. It's $800 to get SFI certified. You really want to trust your life with a company that doesn't have $800 for fire testing? You're a fool, and I'll tell you to your face. Make sure that that company is on the SFI website. Number two, wash it, clean it, care for it. Keep it out of sunlight. Put it up when you're not using. Hang it up. Let it air dry. Use the freezer technique to preserve it. Only wash it with premium cleaners. Check all of your fittings. Check everything in your cockpit. One of the things that I want you to make sure that you do is I want you to practice getting out of your race car all four sides. If you ever get a chance to see our other friends, not this Brian, but Brian with Speedway, they actually have a rollover simulator. They want you to practice getting out of a car upside down. If you see those guys in a trade show, it looks a little bit funny, go over there and do it. Practice getting out of all four sides. Practice getting out of all four sides of your car. Do it once a week until you get incredibly good. You never know when you're going to be pinned up against a wall with a race car on top of you and your car could be on fire. I can't think of a worse possible way to die. Do your part to make sure that you're safe and that you can get out quickly, safely, and you know where everything is. You're going to be disoriented, we understand, but make sure. Practice it in the dark. Practice it with your eyes closed. You need to know your way around that race car in all circumstances and all situations. And don't think it's never going to happen to me. You're the guy that needs to be doing it every single day. If you'd like to find out more about fire safety, talk about your fire suit, or you'd like to learn more about Velocita, we're super easy to find. I'm sure you guys have seen us on social media, but of course, our website is velocita-usa.com. The office number is 336-764-8502. Justin is our suit specialist in-house at 336 829-0654. You can reach me personally. Yes, I'm the president. I'm the owner. I own Velocita Lock, Stock, and Barrel. I have since 2009. It's the same company that started in 1954 with my grandfather. You can reach me at 336-816-7223. That really is my number. Call me and text me. We would love to talk about it. If you feel like I'm one of the companies that called out today and you got a beef with something that I said, call me. We'll talk about it, and I'll prove to you everything that I said is 100% accurate. Don't take my word for it. Go to the SF5 Foundation website. Do your research yourself. Brian Littleton, you're a scholar and a gentleman. We really appreciate you putting the safety seminar on. This is great information for everybody. Unfortunately, I've been sick and in bed. I didn't get to hear everything that is there. I know you're doing awesome work for everybody out there and trying to keep people safe. And to the best of my knowledge, Brian's receiving zero compensation for this. So, man, this is awesome. Really appreciate what you guys are doing. Hope the weather holds out for a great show at Hickory this weekend. Thank you, Brian.
Okay. Appreciate Brad being on. I know it's kind of a little different to what we had to do that, but he is available.